This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Settled in? Are you all cozy and ready to rock and roll? All right, it is the After Party live on a Waterfall Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with me on the Mark Thompson Show. As noted, David Katz will be with us tomorrow. It's going to be a great discussion, and I hope you will come back for that. Here on this show, there's so much to talk about, from shark bites to glowing succulents that may be leading us down our streets instead of street lights, and also a dinosaur-looking snapping turtle that was found in the water here off of the coast of our West Coast. So we'll talk about that as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience and for waiting for the show to start. I really appreciate it. I'm checking out the chat. Hello to you, Nullifidian. Thank you for the great suggestion on waterfalls in Albania, because that is where we're going today. How obscure is that? But apparently their waterfalls, according to Nullifidian, are pretty cool. So we'll check that out. Oh, you got your coffee topped up, ready for some escapism. That is exactly the specialty of this show. That is what we will do. No, you're not late. You're right on time. Let's do this thing. Let's jump into it. Before we do, though, please click the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please click subscribe. It's totally free. If you've already subscribed, don't click it, because then you unsubscribe and it will be such a bummer. But I'm looking to get to the next milestone. We're at 2,502 subscribers. So I think our next milestone is going to be what, 2,750? We'll do that. 2,750. Let's get to it. So thank you for subscribing. Yeah, just glad you're here, Judy. Having tea today. I'm having tea, although I don't have my Coachella tea. This morning, I had to go to San Rafael at 8:30 a.m. and leave Petaluma by 7. We tried to leave by 7:30, but ended up leaving at 7:40. Got stuck in traffic for an hour for a neurology appointment for my mom, and she has been given the green light to have my sister and myself not stay with her 24/7. So I might actually get to sleep in my own bed tonight, which I'm really excited about, and excited that she's okay enough to be solo as well. Beautiful butterflies. Thank you. All right, let's get to the stories, because I'm kind of sad about this, but also I'm not going to lie. Shark teeth and bites scare me. Now I realize that it's rare to be bitten by a shark, but still, all I can think about sometimes when I'm in a body of water is what lurks beneath, what's coming with big teeth. So it is, and it's unfortunate in this particular case, that the acidity in the marine environment is causing things like shark teeth to crack and get pitted with holes. Acidic marine conditions that are brought on by climate change could corrode the teeth of black-tip reef sharks. Scientists did some tests. They did a study. They published it today in the journal Frontiers in Marine Science. The seawater pH forecast for the year 2300, so they're looking way ahead, damages shark teeth, leaving them full of tiny holes and cracks. And it's not only the teeth of black-tip reef sharks, it's also shells, corals, mussels, all impacted by ocean acidification. The study, done out of the University of Dusseldorf in Germany by Maximilian Baum, who was working on his bachelor's thesis as a biologist, said the best, highest developed, and highly mineralized weapons of top predators are also affected. He said, we don't know what the consequences will be, but we can see and we can measure the damage. They already know that oceans are getting more acidic. Atmospheric carbon dioxide levels rise, salty seas warm, water absorbs more dissolved CO2, and the dissolved gas reacts with seawater, releasing hydrogen ions, and that triggers the drop in the pH. They say throughout most of human history, the ocean has been slightly alkaline, with an average pH of about 8.1 or 8.2, which is similar to baking soda. But now, depending on the region, it's closer to 8.05. So again, it was 8.1 to 8.2. Now, depending on where you measure, we're at 8.05. And while they say that doesn't sound like much, it's on a logarithmic scale, meaning every single 1.0 jump represents a tenfold shift in the acidity or alkalinity. And since the 1880s, human beings have been doing activities that increase the ocean's concentration of acidic hydrogen ions by more than 26%. And so, because of that, the ocean's surface pH has been dropping every decade since the beginning of the industrial age, and it continues to do so. The most recent IPCC report says the ocean is currently acidifying 10 times faster than at any prior time in the last 300 million years. And the change has been eating away at the physical infrastructure of the ocean, from shellfish to coral reefs to the seafloor. And that is why researchers decided they were going to look at bigger animals. Usually, bigger animals that eat other smaller animals that also might be struggling with acidification in the sea. And so, this guy getting his graduate degree, his name is Maximilian Baum, and he works as a diver at a local aquarium as well, trying to maintain animal habitats. And while he was diving in the shark tank, he said he routinely noticed fallen teeth scattered around the enclosure. He called it dental confetti. He said it's the product of natural tooth loss that happens throughout a shark's lifetime. They're constantly regrowing and replacing their teeth. But he also looked at that and said that is the perfect opportunity to take this question that he had and do a little research on it. So he collected the intact, undamaged samples from blacktip reef sharks, and he set out how to assess the teeth and how they would fare under future oceanic conditions. So first they looked at hundreds of shark teeth that were picked up. The most pristine were plucked out of all of their samples, and they cataloged the state of these teeth using high resolution photographs taken under a microscope. And then they whittled that collection of teeth down to 16 of the very best ones, matched in pairs. One half of each set went into a control tank, mimicking an ocean pH of 8.1, and the other half went into an experimental tank at 7.3 pH for 8 weeks. Now, the prediction is from officials that the marine pH could fall to 7.3 by the year 2300 if we don't rein in our emissions as humans. We're not doing it, so we can assume it will be that low, right? That's under a worst case scenario. So both tanks' temperature and salinity were kept as close to identical as possible. And after 2 months, they pulled out those teeth and they compared them again. This time, they put them under an electron microscope. And those kept in the more acidic water were significantly more corroded. They had more cracks, they had more holes, especially at the root and at the base of the tooth. Every one of those 8 teeth that was in the pH 7.3 tank was visibly damaged, compared with less than half of the control teeth. And while we know that sharks are continuously replacing their teeth, the findings suggest they would actually need to do so more frequently if they were swimming in more acidic oceans. But swimming in a more acidic ocean with a lower pH may also make it more difficult for those teeth to grow and to mineralize as well. And those teeth are key for a shark's ecological success. So if it becomes more energy intensive to make and maintain those teeth, sharks are likely to suffer. Habitat loss, fishery declines, poaching, impaired senses, the weakened teeth would add to the pile-on of the trouble they're already facing. Isn't that an uplifting story? So we got to fix it, because where we're headed means sharks are in trouble. And again, it might seem like a good thing that the shark's bite would be affected by our pollution and by our global warming. but it's not good at all, is it? Speaking, though, of prehistoric creatures, check out what they found. It's a snapping turtle. They call this one the dinosaur turtle. They say it's a dinosaur like alligator snapping turtle. And it was found in an odd place right underneath a dock in the state of Washington. This is a large invasive alligator snapping turtle that was safely removed by this lifeguard supervisor. To the rescue he went at the Kirkland Parks and Community Services. So they say the turtle is native to the waterways of the Midwest, the Southeast, and some parts of the Southwest, but it was spotted under the dock at Juanita Beach Park in Washington State. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service describes it as dinosaur-like. They say it was captured by lifeguard supervisor Danny with assistance from Animal Control and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. It is the largest freshwater turtle in the United States, but they are considered an invasive species in Washington. They are aggressive, and they are known to have a bite strong enough to remove your finger, an adult human finger. They could take it clean off. So it's a good thing they found this guy, and they will take it to safety where it can't hurt anybody. But what a thing to see as you're swimming around in the state of Washington. No thanks. Stay away from that guy. This story is kind of beautiful. We've talked before on the show about the science of making trees glow in the dark, and that one day perhaps glowing trees could replace streetlights. That's kind of along the lines of this story as well. But in this case, they're glow in the dark succulents, and they're super cool. Bioluminescent succulents have been created by scientists. They shine about as bright as your typical nightlight, and they can recharge using sunlight during the day. They were created by a team from South China Agricultural University. They published a study about it in the journal Matter today. They said they were picturing the world of Avatar, where glowing plants light up an entire ecosystem, and they wanted to make the vision possible by using materials they already work with in the lab, like trees replacing streetlights. These succulents would be lighting the way, lighting the pathways for us. They said creating these glowing plants really isn't a new idea, because in 2024, there was a biotech company. It's called Light Bio, and they had this firefly petunia they considered a major breakthrough in genetically engineering luminescent plants. But the petunia's glow was a little more muted and only available in one color, the color green. The genetic engineering techniques used to create the bioluminescent petunia were also pretty costly and pretty time-consuming as well. So for this study, the team of researchers made luminous succulents without changing the genes of the plant. They used compounds called afterglow phosphor particles, similar to those that they use to make glow-in-the-dark toys with. The afterglow phosphor particles absorb the light and release it slowly over time. In order, though, they say, for the particles to travel through the plant's leaf tissues, the team needed to make sure that the size was just right. So they got the particles down to about 7 micrometers, the width of about a red blood cell. Smaller nano-sized particles moved easily within the plant. They were a little dimmer. The larger particles glowed brighter, but they couldn't travel as far inside the plant. So they injected these tiny particles into several plant species, and they say the succulents that were involved in this test produced a strong glow. Narrow, uniform, evenly distributed leaf veins help disperse the particles more effectively. After being exposed to sunlight or an indoor LED light, the modified succulent stayed illuminated for up to 2 hours. So they're getting better at doing all this. And you see the picture here on the screen. but I do have a video to show you as well. And it's kind of interesting. So you can see exactly scientifically what they did and how it worked. All right, I have to take the picture away to show you the video, and here it comes. Yay! I'm making it happen one day at a time. I think I'd be better at it by now. Here you go. So you can see it changing and lighting up. You see the LED light behind it? And yeah, they said it lasted for about 2 hours. So it really worked. And that's just one leaf of this plant. You can tell the difference in how it lit up. You can watch it slowly lighting right after the injection. Someday we might not need those solar plants or the solar lights that we have in our yard. Someday we might just get bioluminescent succulents to light the garden path. Kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. And look at all the different colors they created by doing that. It's pretty neat. Here's one of those stories about a postcard that finally made its way to its intended recipient, or at least to the address where it needed to go, 72 years after it was mailed. It was lost for 72 years at an Illinois post office, and officials were able to track down and contact the sender, who is now 88 years old. This postcard was sent by Alan Ball to his parents, Frederick and Elizabeth Ball, in 1953. And recently, it arrived at the Ottawa post office, where postmaster, get this, Mark Thompson, took an interest in the mystery. Different Mark Thompson. Postmaster Thompson said the card, which depicts the UN building in New York, was likely mishandled at the post office inside the United Nations and ended up lost inside of some type of crevice or unseen location for decades before finding itself back in circulation. So, Postmaster Mark Thompson enlisted the help of local genealogists to try to track down Alan Ball. He now lives in Sandpoint, Idaho. He was shown a digital image of the card and said he recognized his own handwriting, but he doesn't remember mailing the card. He does remember spending a short time in New York on his way to a summer trip in Puerto Rico in 1953. The postcard's 72-year-long journey is much shorter than the one we talked about last year, when a postcard arrived at its address that was intended in Wales 121 years after the date of postmark. There was a Royal Mail spokesperson who said somehow this postcard got back into the system. They didn't say it was lost in transit for over a century. They didn't know how it worked out. So this one, 72 years, still incredible. They managed to find it and then find someone involved with it after all that time. It is time for the lotto of the day. Look at that happy winner. This guy's from Illinois. He won from a second choice ticket. He won $200,000 off this scratch off lottery ticket because he went there to the store at the Jewel Osco store in Oswego. And the one that he wanted, the ticket he intended to purchase, was sold out. So he said he had a specific scratch-off game in mind when he stopped at the store. He was unable to buy it. He wanted his favorite $5 crossword ticket, but he had to go for the 7 times bingo multiplier, which is his second choice. He says it feels like a little escape when he plays. He said, I can take my time playing it. Something he just enjoys doing. So he leaves the store with his second choice ticket and he ends up winning $200,000. He said the first person he told was his wife, as it should be. He said, I honestly thought she was going to break the floor. She kept jumping up and down. He said the reality of the situation is still settling in, that maybe once the money is in his account, it'll finally feel real. He plans to save for retirement and contribute to the college funds for his grandchildren. Excellent. So glad he won that. Look how funny he looks. He looks like he's so happy. We talk about this. There was a different picture I could have used, but I really like this brain tree with the roots down below. This is a story about mindset and how taking a mindset class could help lower the rates of stress and depression as well. So if you're struggling and you're looking at the world that's a dark place, which we know, talked to John Rothman about that today for a while. They say changing your mindset can help protect you from the stress caused by disease outbreaks, wildfires, earthquakes, political uproars, traumatic life events, all of it. They did a little test and they gave people a 1-hour class in shifting their mindset to see growth opportunities even amid all the chaos. And those that took the class wound up with lower levels of depression and stress months later. Whole study about it published in the October issue of the journal Brain Behavior and Immunity. The associate professor of psychology at Stanford, her name is Aaliyah Crum, said, in the post-pandemic era, we have a choice. We can let the pandemic recede into memory and we can leave us depleted and disillusioned, or we can choose to look back, learn from it, and grow both personally and collectively. She said mindsets are the core beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that serve as our foundation for how we see and engage with the world. These are a mental lens that can dramatically change how events affect a person. So the research team at Stanford tested the potential of changing a person's mindset by showing two groups different videos. They took 226 people that were shown videos explaining how mindsets can be powerful drivers of health and well-being, highlighting the ways people can grow from catastrophic experiences like the pandemic. Someone who maybe lived through the pandemic, developing a greater appreciation for life, better resilience, stronger relationships, deeper spiritual faith. They were also able to pursue new opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise been possible. It's why I'm sitting here with you from home right now. Another 153 people were the control group, and they were shown a video about different phases of the pandemic. After viewing the videos, those in the mindset group were asked to write about their current thoughts regarding the long-term impact of the pandemic and potential areas of growth they might pursue. The control group answered questions testing their knowledge of the pandemic. 3 months later, those who underwent the mindset training had lower levels of depression compared to the control group. They also had lower levels of an inflammatory marker linked to chronic stress and disease as well. So Professor Crum said, as much as we might wish to live untouched by some kind of trauma, the reality is that few of us are spared from this kind of struggle. They said they tried to be really nuanced and balanced, but also bring in the genuine research-based evidence that there are specific positive changes that a lot of people do go through when they live through something like a pandemic. They say more research is needed, but the study was inspired by the hope of helping people reflect on their experience of the pandemic with an eye on how it could help them grow. So a change in mindset can help us with depression, can help us with stress levels, which can help us physiologically as well. How can we grow? What can we take away from it that's positive? Anything? Maybe I'm too hopeful. I mean, for me, it changed everything. The way I work, spending more time with family, spending time with you on this platform, which is completely different. So I can see positives in my life. What positives do you have? What you got? My mindset needs a reboot, says Tammy. Susan says my mindset would change if I won the lottery. There you go. Rhonda says, I don't know, after fighting for my life for 6 weeks, I'm just going to be happy and at peace. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, we did live through it. I need an entire 4-year course, says Rev P. Mindset College. Rev needs Mindset College. Yeah. I don't know if they are so unique. It's always the person who wins, they can't believe it. They need some kind of reality check to actually believe that they won. I still find them fascinating, though. I guess because I just imagine myself in their shoes. Powerball's at 850 million today, says Calvin. Is it time to play? I think so. All right, we'll move on. If you've ever wanted to have your very own world record, well, this might be your time. Guinness World Records is marking its 70th year with their new challenge. They've been doing it for 70 years, so it's not new. It's the Unclaimed Titles Challenge. There are 70 unclaimed titles that, if you want, could be yours. They are up for grabs. The anniversary of the Guinness World Records is today, 70 years after the very first Guinness Book of World Records was compiled in a room above a London gym and published August 27th of 1955. And they are marking this milestone by challenging all of us to take on 70 record titles that are tracked by Guinness but have never been set. Here are some of them. The fastest 400-meter sack race. I mean, no one's taken the title, so it doesn't matter how slow we do it. We could just do it and get the record, right? The farthest distance to bounce a coin into a cup. The furthest distance bottle flip. The most high fives in 30 seconds. The fastest time to build a 5-story playing card pyramid. The fastest time to make a burrito. The fastest time to arrange a set of Scrabble tiles in alphabetical order. Ooh, that might be mine. Yeah. They have a new record selector quiz on their website, which matches the aspiring record breaker to the appropriate titles that you might want to compete for based on your personality and your interests. And here's what the editor-in-chief of Guinness World Records, Greg Glenday, says. As we mark the 70th anniversary of the release of our first edition back in the 50s, we are proud to be building on 70 amazing years as the global curator of superlative facts and achievements. We've seen so many iconic moments, the most amazing feats of strength and skill and endurance from talent across the globe, and long may it continue. They are now looking forward to celebrating the current and next generation of record breakers. They say we want everyone to be part of it, whether that's using our new record selector tool or having a go at one of our 70 unclaimed records. They are there for the taking. So they've got a record selector tool where you can take your challenge to the next level. Oh, what kind of record breaker are you? They say 5 questions. When racing through a tough challenge, how do you tackle it? You stay calm and pace yourself? Is it all about getting it done quickly? Do you focus on the detail? Are you a master at thinking outside the box? Those are the first 5 questions. So that's how they test you and see what might be up your alley. I mean, it might be fun, right? It might be fun to break a record. Yeah, they have 70 records that would be easy to set. So check it out at guinnessworldrecords.com, and maybe you'll find one that appeals to you. Why not? Hey, have you seen any payphones around lately? Usually, if you do, they're in disrepair, like the one on the left, dangling, wires hanging out. There's no way you could make a phone call. But what if you fix that right up? What if you said, hey, I'm going to make this sightly again and use it and usable again. And then I'm not going to charge anyone who wants to make a call. That's what happened in Vermont, where one man refurbishes and retrofits these payphones, little phone booths, and then allows people to use them for free. I mean, if you're going to have it still sitting there, it might as well be functional, right? Otherwise, it's kind of an eyesore. So, this man, his name is Patrick, he's an electrical engineer. He says he's just driving to work one day through the rolling hills of Orange County, Vermont, when he saw this unused payphone that was all raggedy right outside of a general store. And it looked like it was lost in time. And it was right on his commute where cellular connectivity was really spotty. And it was in a dead zone where you could go 10 miles in each direction and not get a signal. So he said, what if he could use modern technology to save this payphone booth and add this new layer of connectivity to his community? So he said that he was the biggest problem with fixing this up was getting permission from the owner of the general store. But once he did, he said the guy was a little worried that a working phone would attract unwanted attention and might lead to people messing around on after business hours in front of the store. But finally, the man said they had a frightening incident at the store. There was someone who was running from a domestic dispute. This woman had walked nearly 20 miles without her phone from a campsite in the woods. And there was a church across the street from the store. And eventually, the owner of the store found this woman sleeping on a picnic table and thought an active payphone could have allowed her to call someone for help. Maybe, he said, she could have used a phone, and maybe people in similar situations could use a way to reach out that isn't readily available anymore. And that's when he said yes. And that's when Patrick swept in and got to work. He started sourcing used payphones and parts from flea markets and the internet to fix up in his home workshop. He made any necessary repairs, and in this general store phone, retrofitted them with voice over internet protocol to enable the calls. He said he still needed some assistance from the location owner because it's the payphone host that provides the power and the internet connection and a place to install it. So he used an analog telephone adapter to convert the analog signals into digital ones that can travel over the internet. And the entire resulting phone is free for users, no coins needed at all. He calls it, because of his last name, or because it's the Randolph Public Telephone Operating Company, as he named it, it's Randtel for short. So nearly 2 years after he put this together, he's added payphones in 2 more locations in Vermont, outside a library and near a highway. And both sites were selected after local community members chose them. So far, 300 phone calls have been made in the past few months from these payphones. And he says he's not done yet. He's going to put in a 4th phone near a school, a 5th at another location. He hasn't decided yet. And he said he's getting requests from people to update the phones with Wi-Fi features, but he said that would miss the point of all this. He said, I have no plans to change the features or change the scope of this project. It just needs to be simple and accessible to everyone. So he is funding this out of his own pocket. He said used payphones can cost a couple $100, and he usually waits for them to drop in price. But he said they fall into 2 categories: coin first and then dial tone first. The coin first is where you have to put money in before you hear a dial tone, and the other way around, you pick up the phone and you hear a dial tone first. And he said, aside from having to replace or repair a part, it's not that big of a job to repair these and restore them. So he said, other than the common wear items or pieces that may have gotten broken over the years, it's not really a ton of work, which is really nice. He said it's very reliable and a must-have that they would connect to 911, so he made sure. And he has these little cards, the blue and white cards you can see up on the right, that explain the mission. And they have a list of helpful numbers, local police, fire departments, the suicide prevention hotline, the governor's office. You can push 0, and he answers the phone if you push 0. He said people are remembering what we used to have. If you're old enough, you recognize a payphone that's something for you. And so there it is. While smartphones did kill the payphone, in some cases, it's really nice to still have them around. And again, only 300 phone calls made in that time span. So it's not getting a huge use, but boy, when you need a phone, super nice to have one. Okay, are you ready for it? It is time for Waterfall Wednesday. Waterfall Wednesday. Yeah, it's that moment where we're going to take a second and just look at a beautiful waterfall. And Walter is taking us to Albania this time around, where we have some beautiful waterfalls. I have to tell you, I never would have thought to look for waterfalls in Albania. But boy, have we been missing out. And the good thing is, most of us will probably never go to Albania. So it's nice that we can do this together in this way. This is one of the Albanian waterfalls. It's the lead waterfall. But the first waterfall, they say, is called the Grunas. That's what this one is, the Grunas waterfall. Grunas. It is Albania's postcard waterfall near the village of Theth in the northern Albania area. Alpine waters plunging from 98 feet into an ice-cold natural pond. The overall humidity reflects a constant rainbow during the summer, and the waterfall freezes entirely into a spontaneous ice sculpture during the winter. It's the source of native legends involving fantastical creatures. No words, they say, can do this justice near the site of Grunas. For those finding their way into Theth, they say a hike to the waterfall is a must, but by visiting the Grunas waterfall, you'll be among the few to have gazed into a stream fed exclusively by snow waters, which is a rare natural arrangement in the whole of Europe. How beautiful is that? So pretty. The next one is called the Sotira waterfall. This is beautiful. I think this is a bit of a trek, though. I'm going to show you this one a little bit differently. I'm going to try to share my screen. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Okay, and here it is. Here is I have to take this picture away so you can see this one. Here it is. This is so beautiful. There it is. I'll make it even bigger. And see, it's kind of going to be a trek to get to that one, boy. We're going to have to really work on it. It's not far from the capital, though. It's called the Sotira Waterfall. It's said to be a poetic site formed by water streaming from the mighty Tomor Mountain, cutting through limestone cliffs. It's about 10 miles from the town of Gramsh, but it looks really remote. It does look very remote. They say the beauty of this waterfall attracts people that are going on adventures every year. It's a soft, wide meadow fronting this waterfall, and it offers plenty of room for everyone who wants to come look at the beauty of the Sotira waterfall. During the spring and summer, the site is radiated in vibrant colors with flaring red rocks backgrounding the blue waters. You have to go on quite an adventure to get there. You follow the road from Gramsh into the Sotira village, and unless traveling on to an off-road by car, the hike is about an hour long. So that's what it looks like. Number 3 on the list is called the Shengjural waterfall, and it is really beautiful. So different than this. Check this one out. Wow. Look at that waterfall. Look at the color of the rocks. This is a marvelous waterfall, very close to the Albanian capital, Tirana. It's about 98 feet high, and there are other hidden streams that go through the rock funnels as well. This is, uh-oh, this is located near the Shenjurl village, and it feeds the Urzen River. The travelers, they say, can approach really close to this oasis with simple cars and then hike for a half an hour from the village to the waterfall. The best seasons to get to this gateway, though, they say, are spring and summer as well. So make sure that there's not some kind of emergency alert, because I've never heard that my cell phone make that noise before. Look at this one. This is very different. It's called the Waterfall of Selka. Check that out. Almost looks like a bird taking flight, doesn't it? Look at the top of the waterfall there. That's really beautiful. This is part of a remote alpine area filled with diverse natural wonders. There are caves here and trails and towers. And this has a small height, but it is a voluminous rushing stream. It is in the Kelmend region at the northernmost tip of the Albanian Alps. And because it's so remote, it's really often unexplored. But they say you only need to visit here once to fall in love with this area. It's called the Waterfall of Selka. Here's the Kakunja waterfall. This is also about 16 miles away from the capital, Tirana, but a lot of people don't know about this one, even the locals. And look how incredible that is. Wow. That's so beautiful. This one is pleasant and smooth. It's called also the Waterfall of Askeljat Rock. It's only about 30 feet high, and you have to go on a trail to go see it. But there's greenery and singing birds and the stream cascading through the nearby mountains. It's really beautiful. Number 6 on the list is the Bogova waterfall. Here's what that looks like. Look at that magic cascading down into that beautiful pool in the middle of what looks like the opening of a cave. It is called a graceful, unspoiled spot to touch base with nature. Transparent waters fall from about 65 feet high into an oasis-like pond. The waterfall reveals, they say, the exotic side of Albanian nature. This is near the village of Bogove, south central Albania. To get there, you have to ride along a road through a Bogova village and then hike the local trail to get here. I kind of want to go swimming in that little cave-like pond. Beautiful. Number 7, Osumi Canyons. This one you can raft to, and check it out. Look at that. People in the raft right at the bottom. That's a big old waterfall. It's the Osumi Canyons. It follows the Osum River that flows along the historic city of Berat, not far from there. The Osumi Canyons hide within them many natural stunts, among which are several waterfalls that are curtaining down, best gazed by brave adventurers who raft across the canyon stream. They say attentive observers can identify as many as 8 distinct waterfalls washing the sides of the canyons, and they say they soothe the rafters who deal with the bumpy ride ahead. Here's my kind of waterfall. I have to tell you, this is it. Just a little waterfall into a blue swimming pool. That's all I need. It's called the Blue Eye of Theth. The Blue Eye of Theth waterfall is famous for its rich blue cast. The waters are supplemented by a small river, which is called the Black River, interestingly. But the small, soothing waterfall falls into a pond that reflects all shades of blue. They say it's how the fountain of youth, they imagine, would look. You can hike here from the village of Theth. You can see Grunus, their first one, along the way. And then it completes your collection of waterfalls if you're traveling. Here's another one. It's an unexplored but beautiful destination in Albania. Hinka waterfall. I don't know about this one. Maybe it's just the photo that they have taken from above. It looks pretty high up there. You can see they're looking over the edge of the rocks down into the river below or the stream below. It is called the Hinka waterfall, and it's near the city of Fire or Fear, F-I-E-R. It's called a natural masterpiece overlooking one of Albania's most fertile field, a stunning attraction. It's about 65 feet high, and it's formed by multiple local streams. It's a journey that then deviates into another hillside with another waterfall. So beautiful. This one almost looks like something you would see in this Sierra. Check out this one. That's beautiful as well. This is called the Valbona waterfall, and it's the result of a natural spring near the Ragram village of Shala. It the waterfall points to the direction of the trail leading to the alpine village of Theth. Again, we're back to Theth. They have the icy waters that form the base of the Valbona River, which then takes you into the Albanian Alps. It's a bit of a hike to get here, about an hour walk through dense beech forests and alpine highlands. What was your favorite? You've got the Valbona. You've got the Hinka, which again, I think the Hinka is a little hard to see. There's the Hinka. You've got the Blue Eye of Theth. I think that's going to be my favorite. That's pretty good. You've got the Osumi Canyon. That's pretty cool, with the people on the raft at the bottom. Love that one. You've got the Bogova waterfall. That's kind of remote, but also very cool in that canyon cave. That might be my second favorite. I don't know. What do you think of that? Kind of like it. And then you have the Kakunja. It's pretty special. And then here's that one that looks like a bird taking flight. Then you have the waterfall of Selka. And here's the Shengerjil waterfall with the beautiful red rocks behind it. So pretty. Here's the next one. That's pretty cool. The Sotira waterfall. It's really beautiful. And then you have the Grunas. And here's the Grunas. So what's your favorite? You have a favorite? I'm going to the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. I like the Blue Eye of Theth. What do you think? Let's see. Looking at what you have to say. You like this one? Thank you, Ren. I try with the names. I don't know. But thank you for going to Albania with me. The Blue Eye. Ricky says it's the Blue Eye. It's his favorite. Gordon likes the Blue Eye. Mindy likes all of them. Nullifidian can't pick a favorite. They're all beautiful. Yeah. I try. It might not be right. Albanians are listening going, oh my God, can she stop? Yeah, the blue one, says Heather. The Blue Eye. The Blue Eye, says Ricky. Waterfall Wednesday is not the same without images. This is true. I have images. Did you guys not see it? I hope you did it. I hope you saw it. I can see it. I hope you can see it. All right. Well, that, my friends, is Waterfall Wednesday. Thank you for being here for it and sharing it tomorrow, of course. And by the way, thank you to Walter for the amazing suggestion of Albania, which I never would have thought of by myself. And if you have any suggestions, as always, Kim at theafterparty.live. It's been a big week for people submitting stories and places to go and see. So please keep those coming. Kim at theafterparty.live. If you have a topic, a category for Trivia Thursday that you think we should partake in tomorrow, please email me. Let me know what you think, and I'll see if I can make it happen. All right. So thank you for being here, and thank you for hanging out. I hope I see you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show. Again, please click like and subscribe. Huge, huge thank you to people who contribute to this crowd-funded show to keep it going and to make it work. You are so appreciated. Can't tell you how much, because there is not enough words to just express the gratitude that I have for all of the help with what we're trying to do here, what I'm trying to do here. Huge, huge thank you today from Ricky, to Ricky, who's contributed to the show. Heather, also with a recurring PayPal payment to the show. Susan D, Jennifer L, Robin F. Huge thank you to you guys for keeping the show going. So appreciate it. Really, really, really do. Okay, that's it for the After Party Live for today, but I'll see you tomorrow right back here on YouTube. But between now and then, make it a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.